Meanwhile, a 23-year-old university student is set to become Kenya's youngest member of parliament after beating veteran politicians to win a parliamentary seat. Local media reports that John Paul Wirigi won the Igembe South seat after running a modest campaign by walking from door to door in the constituency. His supporters say they decided to elect him because they are confident he knows their problems and will address them. The young candidate says his first task will be supporting agribusiness activities, promoting entrepreneurial development and nurturing talent with a key agenda of transforming the lives of the people. Well, joining us now is activist and member of the Not Too Young to Run movement in Nigeria, Mariam Lawishi. Glad you could join us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Well, quite an interesting, in Kenya, the event in Kenya of the young man that won a parliamentary seat at the age of 23 and is still a university student. What comes to mind when you hear such stories?
It gives me so much joy because that is exactly what we are advocating for here in Nigeria. This is a young person who understands the needs of his constituency, and he did not even have money for posters. What he did was he went door to door and he related with all the people who resided in the area where he contested for elections. And as he spoke to them, he could understand them, they could understand him, and they related with each other. He understood their needs. He wasn't so far off from them. And I think that's what a representative is, someone who's close enough to you to speak with you so you guys understand your issues. And he went door to door and did that. And it gives me so much joy to know that that is happening in Kenya, because that is exactly what we want to happen here in Nigeria.
Are you joyful because you think that it can happen in Nigeria? Do you actually believe it's achievable?
I absolutely believe it's achievable, because even if it's on so many levels, it can be done. We've seen a 39-year-old being elected in France. We've seen now even in Africa that it has happened. It's been happening in America. So when I know that especially in the rural areas, there are people who are there who can relate a lot more to their people who may be younger and they don't have the opportunity. But I believe that if this bill is passed, it's going to open that kind of door for young people who are really committed, who understand the issues, and who will be able to take up such positions.
We've seen youth, in Nigeria join in movements that are calling for change and challenging the government to take more interest in the people. But do you think, the youth are ready for this challenge of being in the political class?
I absolutely think so, because age should not disqualify a person to be able to participate in such a way as running for a political office. Because if we have people who are absolutely qualified for it, we don't want the reason that they didn't get in to be that they were too young. I believe that young people are innovative. I mean, I know a few people who work under a lot of our leaders who are much older, who take control of generating ideas and helping them actually do their jobs better. These young people have the ideas, they're just not old enough to be in a position to implement them or to run for office and take control of these ideas themselves. I believe that Nigerian young people have been excelling in different things, and I believe that they would be up to the challenge if given the opportunity.
Well, outside of age, which you spoke about just now, what else do you think are the limiting factors against Nigerian youth from entering the political class?
So I think there's also a cultural barrier in terms of a younger person, because in Nigeria we have a culture that definitely separates younger people and older people. So I think that's one of the issues that people may have to deal with. And people have been talking about young people being able to raise money to run for elections. But I believe that just as the young man in Kenya has proven, these are issues that can be overcome one way or the other.
Thank you so much for your time. Just chip in the quick one, yes or no answer. Are you thinking of running for any elective positions if, you do actually get that chance?
I've been getting that question a lot, but at the moment I have no plans. I'm just trying to make sure that young people get this opportunity.
Right. Thank you so much for your time on Network Africa. Let's move on. In an interesting twist of events, a Kenyan female candidate has trounced her own son to win a parliamentary seat in southwest part of the country. Beatrice Cones was competing against her first-born son in Bomet East in one of the most watched parliamentary duels in the country because it pitted members of a nuclear family. Mrs. Cones was first elected MP following the death of her husband in a plane crash in Enusu-Pukia, Narok, but lost in the 2013 election. Her son, who came fourth in the election, says that in 2013 his mother had promised to support his bid this year and that he had no personal differences with her. Coming up on Network Africa.